Hold up. Did you guys know that the reason why crackers have this edge on them is so that you can actually cut your cheese slices for snacking? Like, it creates a serrated edge. What? If you know you like to create adult Lunchables, there you go. Yes, that is what I call them, because who's pronouncing that? That's too hard. Chartreuse is enough. As a matter of fact, I might just call it that. That used to be one of my favorite colors. But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. On to my next dish, which was yet again another concoction of whatever's in my refrigerator that makes sense or even remotely looks like it goes together. That's it. So on that menu was bean sprouts, which you know do not stay in your refrigerator fresh for very long, paired with the last of my kimchi, and some udon noodles, which the fiance secured for me the day before. And of course, you already know there's definitely some gochujang in there. This is kind of a nod to a dish I've definitely made before on this channel. I love udon noodles, but I tried to limit my noodles. So for the next day, I had something fresh, something light. And since I've been back on my grapefruit game, I felt like I really needed to invest in the chore that is actually consuming them, because I did want to create a syrup, which you may also know I love to do. I just wanted to eat it, especially since these didn't need any extra sweetness. Like, they were perfect. So I got this little knife and spoon set, and best investment I ever made. And since it is obviously not a part of my kitchenware tour, I will link it down below for you guys. Remember, if you want to know about anything that I own in my kitchen, it will all be linked in the description box under Shop This Vlog. And since, again, this was a struggle week and I really didn't have very much in my refrigerator, I was basically cleaning it out. I totally intended to do a video based on that, how to make meals out of the bare minimum that's left over in your refrigerator at the end of the week. But here I just wanted to show you guys that you should definitely be thoroughly cleaning your leeks, because as you can see, there's tons of dirt. Actually, it was kind of sand. It was like literal sand. So normally I would slice them into rings and then clean them, but you can also do it this way so that you can, like, you know, open up all the folds and crevices. So this was me prepping them for a future meal. No, I don't meal prep, but sometimes as I see things in my refrigerator, I'll just say, oh yeah, let me grab that, which is also why I roasted these peppers and tomatoes. Again, this was me clearing out my refrigerator. So I was also making some avocado dye, which if you watch my videos regularly, I'm sure you're already familiar with that. I have been experimenting with dyeing with food scraps. I'm also prepping some onions. Actually, you know what? I was slicing up some onions as well as some cabbage because I wanted to try pickled gourmet. However, the jalapenos that I thought I had did not exist, at least not in my refrigerator. And I didn't want to have it. I wanted to go authentic, so I wasn't going to make it without it, nor did I actually have any potatoes. So yeah, this just wasn't my moment. However, I did have just the cabbage and onions, and I mean, it wasn't bad. So yeah, definitely can't wait to make this recipe, and it will for sure be in the next What I Eat in a Week. So look forward to that. Or maybe I did have potatoes, because when the heck did I make this? But anyway, this is me boiling some potatoes to make, you guessed it, smashed potatoes. And if you guys are following me on Instagram, which you should be, you already saw this recipe, because this is the loaded smashed potatoes that I said I was gonna make in a previous video. I believe that was, I called them pachos, because that time around I had them with avocado and red onion. And though it was good, it wasn't giving me what I wanted it to have gave. So I chopped up some seitan bacon to make these teeny tiny baby little squares. and then attempted to dress my potatoes with some avocado oil, but as you can see, I was running on E. Thankfully, I had some vegan butter in my refrigerator. I slapped that on. And while my potatoes were roasting, I sauteed my bacon, which absolutely needs the fat, otherwise it will dry up and it won't get crispy. But do make sure that you drain off the excess fat. This is where these indulgent meals become borderline dangerous because they just contain excess. I don't think I've mentioned this in a previous video, but vegan food is not synonymous with healthy food. So you can absolutely be an unhealthy or a junk food vegan and go for really comforting meals like this that remind you of standard American dishes that still comes with those traditional preparation methods that aren't always the best for you. Just a gentle reminder that I do not film every single thing that I eat. We all want to eat yummy stuff. And unfortunately, it's the stuff like this that tastes the best. Again, if you guys caught the kitchenware tour that I posted a couple weeks ago, you'll probably notice something a little bit different, that these dishes weren't there before. Well, you guys know I love a shallow bowl moment, so I really like the like eggshell speckled one that I have from East Fork, and I'm assuming they saw that video because they actually reached out to me to collaborate. It is definitely one of my most used, so naturally I requested some more, and so I have them in pretty much every colorway, I think, except for, no, I'm missing one because they just came out with the pinto bean. As you can see, they make bowls, plates, mugs, all from regional stoneware clays in Asheville, North Carolina, which, fun fact, I was actually born in North Carolina, so I don't know, maybe this is coming full circle. So there is where they built their factory and created jobs for the community. And as a matter of fact, that pinto glaze that I was talking about was created in collaboration with Samin Nosrat to raise money for Acton Verba. So I believe it's from now through April, that 10% of the sales from that glaze will actually benefit Acton Verba, who are working to challenge systemic oppression through urban farming. And they have actually extended a discount for me. So if you guys want to get 15% off of your order, you can just use abetweene, and that is store-wide, so not just on the pottery. The very last of the trumpet mushrooms, and just really throwing together a meal that I was not prepared to actually make. I, again, literally had the bare minimum. I threw some sauce on it and put it in the oven to just like dry it out a little bit more. I wanted to make sure it wasn't too wet and mushy because, again, y'all know how I feel about mushrooms. It's not my favorite texture, and I'm still learning. This is the week I also had the baked feta pasta. If you haven't seen that, it's in my last What I Eat in a Week. I'll be sure to link that down below, and it's probably also popping up on the screen right now. And again, I was clearing out the refrigerator, so that means that it was time to make stock. This I showed you guys how to make in my scraps video. I know I need to shut up at this point, but if you haven't seen it, it's linked down below. And speaking of new kitchen items, I also grabbed this adorable funnel. Like, why would this even be that cute? It's a little mushroom. I think I secretly just wanted it because it reminded me of Mario. And because I still hadn't gone grocery shopping at this point, we are really digging into the pantry items. So again, if you guys saw my, wow, I can't even listen to myself right now. I hate to plug you guys to so many previous videos, but like, it's all relative. If you saw my pantry tour video, then you probably noticed that I have a lot of nuts and seeds, like a lot, because again, variety is important, especially when your refrigerator is low and you're running off of just dry goods. So I made the easiest thing I could think of, which was a muesli, which pretty much consists of like oat, whatever nuts and seeds you want to use, even dried fruit, and yogurt. So I'm using a thicker coconut yogurt than I would usually prefer. And personally, I love mulberries, but they can be a little bit tough on the teeth because they are very chewy and, like most fruits, kind of sticky. So I like to actually rehydrate them in a little bit of water. And because, like I said before, oatmeal, not entirely my thing, and I am really particular about the texture of it, I actually add half of my yogurt first, let that sit for a little bit. Then I add the remainder of it so that when I actually go to eat it, it hasn't absorbed like every single bit of moisture. Again, this was still a bit thick for me, but it was edible. Finally, I got around to those roasted vegetables. And this I've definitely made on my channel before, I know. Just tell me to shut up. In which case, if you did see that, you know. Grilled cheese and tomato soup is my go-to. It could just bring a tear to my eye. And if you saw my What I Eat in a Week where a subscriber picked my meals, then you know I introduced this loaf of croissant. So I used that to make grilled cheese, and buttery and flaky plus gooey and melty. It is just top tier. It's a combination you need in your life. And you can actually add stock to your soup if you want to, but I prefer a thicker soup so that I can do this. If you've ever had a Dunkaroo, you understand the logic here. You gotta dip. It just brings the whole experience full circle. And I know I already showed you guys the grapefruit spoon for eating, but what it is also equally excellent for is just deconstructing your grapefruit to make grapefruit syrup. Because I was really missing my grapefruit tea, decided to make this. While you can just use the juice, I still want the pulp. Like, I want to use as much of the fruit as I can, but you know how this goes. And if you don't, all you got to do is sweeten it, and it will preserve it in the refrigerator for longer than just having fresh produce. Not as long as if you were to actually cook it, but this works just fine. And I prefer the fresh taste of fruit, so I like to eat it as close to raw as I can. And while normally I use agave, I actually use sugar this time, and you can see that even after mixing, crystals roll lower to the bottom. That's why you want to leave it out on your counter for a little bit and then pop it in the refrigerator overnight so that it has time to break down. And that is it for today's video. So if you guys enjoyed it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.